Thank you so much for joining episode 7 of Expo Lounge Podcast. I'm your host, Meredith, with my husband, Herschel.
AKA Mr. Steen.
And what?
Go ahead, continue.
Today we have the privilege of interviewing one of my clients. Her name is Allie, and she's so beautiful. I'm so lucky that I get to do her hair. She saw the podcast and she was interested in being on it, and I thought it was a great idea because you're now in the beauty industry.
I am.
Yes.
I know.
You're owner of Blushed Tan.
Yes, Blushed Tan Easton.
Easton.
Yep.
Okay. Tell me about your salon.
So, oh my God, I'm so excited to be here right now. I've always wanted to be on a podcast.
I'm happy to have you.
Oh my God, I'm so obsessed with podcasts right now.
Good.
Like anything like betrayal podcast, crime.
Okay.
I'm like, let's switch it up. We'll do something nice
Chicks
and light.
love crime,
I know.
crime stuff.
I know. I was like, let's do something light for today.
Yeah.
So this is great. But yeah, so I own Blushed Tan Easton.
Mm-hmm.
We're located in downtown Easton, and we are an all-organic spray tan salon. So we specialize in doing colors for every skin tone, for everybody, and like really focusing on like being really inclusive and also like providing products that are really good for your skin too.
Right.
So I like really stand so hard behind the products that I use
Right.
and just making women feel beautiful.
Right.
I think you can relate to that.
I can, and I gotta say, Allie, when I went in and got tanned by you, I got a spray tan from you. I'm pretty confident getting a spray tan. You know, people are spraying your body. You're not wearing any clothes, or you're wearing what you're comfortable with, right? And that sign that you have, what does it say? Like, as soon as you're in there, it's like don't apologize.
The rules. It's like studio rules, and like I like it so much because it's like
So
studio
do I.
rules, and it says it in like all caps, and it's literally just like, you know, like it's whatever you're most comfortable with. If
Right.
you have one boob,
Two boobs, no boobs.
yeah, no
like,
boobs.
don't apologize for anything.
anything, like cellulite, like anything, and like so. And I put it in a place too where like when you're standing there getting spray tanned and you might feel like a little bit uncomfortable, like you can
Really
see it,
vulnerable.
and almost like 50% of my clients are like, I love that sign.
Exactly.
And
It
I'm
just
like,
takes the edge off, and it's just like, okay, because you do feel vulnerable.
yeah, well, I also have a lot of women where, like, maybe it is their first time coming in
Right.
and getting a spray tan, and I, like, totally get it. Like, you're in front of a stranger, like, naked, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like, I've never met this person before.
Right.
So I always try to make people feel, like, so incredibly comfortable, and women will ask me, like, you know, what are you cool with me doing? I'm like, get naked if you want. Like, I've seen it all. I see it all day. Like,
Yeah.
I love making women feel like comfortable with me, and like I just try to make it a good time too.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. But that's your personality, because
I think so.
Yeah, you were a bartender too, like just like working with people.
Yeah,
You're
and I
really
think
good at
that's why like just switching over was really comfortable for me because I
Right.
was already so used to talking to people, and I like especially love talking to women. No
Yes.
offense.
That's fine. No offense taken.
I asked Allie in the bathroom, I was like, yeah, Herschel was going to ask you if you spray tan black people. And she was like, I do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. I actually I have had it happen like a couple times, and I myself was like kind of surprised. And I had the first woman I ever spray tanned, she came in and she was just like, yeah, like I think it like helps like even me out. It makes my skin look really glowy. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, let's do it. And I spray tanned her in like a darker shade. And the next day I texted her and I was like, hey, how'd it go? And she was like, yeah, I look like beautiful. I look glowy. I feel really confident. And I was like, spray tanning's for everybody. It's official.
Yeah. I tell me about like how you found the location where you're at, and like how, you know, like, did your fiance help you with that?
Yeah, so it was honestly a journey. So I'm part of like Blushed Tan, which a lot of people think it's like a corporation, or it's a, what's the word I'm looking for? Franchise, yeah. And it's not. I actually didn't know how to answer that question at first when people would be like, oh, are you a franchise? And I was just like, no, not really. And like, I didn't know how to answer it. But we're not a franchise. We're all independently owned. And they're actually all owned by women too.
Oh.
And almost 90% of the women that own them actually also work in them too, which is really great. So you're getting that like one-on-one with like people that own the business and are really passionate about it as well. But yeah, so like I originally had a friend who owned a Blushed Tan in Worcester, Massachusetts, and her name is Jenna Sharma. She's amazing.
Okay.
She's like really sweet. She's a mom of 2, and she was so inspiring to me because I saw her like doing this and raising kids, and I'm like, oh my God, like I would love that life. Like I just think she was so amazing. So I reached out to her one day because like I love spray tans. Like
Yeah.
I love tans. I always have, and there was nowhere in the area that did it. And especially, like, did it well. Like,
Right.
I tried to get one from a machine once, like a Versa Pro, where it's like,
I've never done that.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, it works for some people. Some people just like to be in and out. I noticed, like, it was kind of blotchy. And, like, you go in and they're just like, all right, how do you want to look? Light, medium, dark? And I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, what would look best? And it just never really came out right. And I went in once right before I got engaged. We were going to Thanksgiving with my family, and I was like, oh, I'll go get a tan really quick. I turned bright orange.
That's terrible.
Like, literally this color orange. It was horrific. It was so bad. And of course, my fiance freaking proposes to me.
When you're orange.
When I'm orange. We had to edit all the pictures of my hands. Oh my God. It was such a bad experience. And I was like, oh my God, like that sucked. I wish there was a better place. So I reach out to Jenna, and I'm just like, hey, like, you know, how did you like get into this? I got on a phone call with her, and I was like, how did you get into this? Like, and I knew I wanted to do kind of like maybe something in the beauty industry. And she's like, yeah, you could do this too. She's like, you could own a Blushed Tan too. And I'm like, how do I do that? And she walked me through this whole process, and I was like, okay, let me think about it. And then, like, this is where Brian came into play, because, like, I hadn't even really talked to him about it before I talked to her, because I kind of wanted to, like, get some information first and, like, see what it was all about. And I went to him, and I was like, I have this idea, and I want to open a spray tan salon. And, like, God bless him. He is so amazing and supportive, and he was just like, okay, do it. I was like, that's it? And he's like, yeah, like, if you think it's going to work well, if you think it can make money, then do it. He's like, there's nothing holding you back. You're at a great age right now to get into something like this. He's like, you're just so, like, you're passionate. You have such great energy, and, like, just go do it. And I was like, okay. And then
I think it helps having that support.
you know what, it really does, because I was in relationships before where I feel like it wasn't really that I wasn't supported, but I definitely wasn't pushed.
Right.
You know, and I think being with somebody who's gonna not only support you, but also kind of push you because they see that potential in you
Right.
is so big.
Right.
Like, so big.
I
Like, do you
agree.
think that you would have done what you did if you weren't with Herschel?
Oh, no.
Big round of applause for
No,
Herschel.
absolutely not. No, I've said it before. Like, he literally did, no, but he did everything. Like, he made phone calls. He found the spot. He was the motivational speaker in my ear. You know.
Yeah, no, Brian did a lot. I had no idea. I don't know how to, like, do an LLC. I'm like,
Right.
how the hell do I do this? And he did, like, all of that technical stuff because he knows how to do it. So it was
That's
really
nice.
easy for him. Yeah, and he was just like, all right, like, it's done. And I was like, okay. But yeah, like, he was so supportive in helping me. He, like, came in and he got his hands dirty and painted and put together furniture. Like, he did a lot that I don't think I could have done it alone.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
I probably could have, but it would have
course
been a
you
lot
could,
harder.
right.
Harder, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, I afterwards, I, like, look back and I'm just like, I'm so grateful and everything. And you know what sucks is, like, so many people, and, like, this isn't to, like, trash on men or anything. It's just, like, so many people were just like, oh, well, like, your husband gave you that. Like, your fiance, like, gave you that. Like, and I'm like, he actually, like, he helped me with it and he pushed me and he did that. But, like, he didn't hand it to me.
Right.
I'm like, where
That's
do people come
terrible.
up with that?
They're jealous.
I know. That's what I thought, too. I was like, what the heck is
I
going
think
on?
they're jealous.
But, yeah, and finding the space, too, was, like, difficult.
I think you're in a beautiful, like, the heart of Easton.
Yeah.
It's, like, isn't it, like, right off the circle?
It
Or, like, near
is.
the
It
circle?
is. And, like, I really like the location, too, and I'm hoping that it will grow with me as well. But I think finding the location was so hard. I looked at a lot of places until
you?
I found that. Yeah, and I looked at a lot of places. Like, tanning salons, for some reason, like, you do have to have, like, something kind of specific. Like, you do have to have, like, obviously a waiting area, and then you
Right.
also have to have, like, rooms to spray in that you have to, like, convert into spraying rooms, and you have to have, like, a sink area.
To wash everything.
I didn't know this at first. Like, I thought for some reason, like, I didn't really need it. I don't know why I thought that.
Right.
But then, like, once I was like, oh, shit, like, you do. And, like, luckily I have, like, a really great sink area. But, yeah, like, you're washing stuff all day long. Spray tanning is so messy.
Yeah. Do you get it all over your clothes?
It doesn't get on my clothes, but, like, you have extraction fans, so I have 2 of them. 2 is, like, usually, like, what you would have. So I have 2, and it takes a lot of them, and it puts it into, like, filters. Like, they're stacked on top of each other. But, like, the floors and, like, the walls, like, you're like,
all
oh,
orange.
my God. It's not even orange. It
Brown.
turns, like,
Green.
it turns green.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. But, like, it doesn't stain clothes. Like, if it
That's
gets on my
good.
clothes, I just wash it. But I
Right.
noticed, like, when I first started, I was wearing shorts and a T-shirt all the time. And I would, like, go home and just, like, go to bed. Like, I wasn't, like, showering. And I was like, why are my arms and my legs so tan? And I think it's because, like, the extra stuff was getting on me. And I was like, oh, like, that's why. But I still spray tan like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. But, yeah.
What questions do you have, babe?
What questions do I have?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few questions, but
I said that we
I
were
just-
just going to get going here.
no, that's fine. I was just thinking you jumped on something, but I want to go back. But you jumped on something right now. So you said you get done work and you're exhausted and you just go home and go to sleep and you have like
Yeah.
tan stuff all over you.
Well, like, I'll go home and I'll, like, make dinner and then we'll hang out. Like, I don't
Right.
just go, like, home and straight to sleep. I, like, leave work usually around, like, 6-ish. But, like, yeah, I, like, don't wash it off.
So I may have missed it. Do you get certified for this, or is this something that you can just go and start
Yeah.
spraying people?
So this is a really great question, and I was actually, like, thinking about this earlier. I was like, oh, I can touch upon this. Spray tan industry is a really great one to get into because you don't have to be certified.
Wow.
You don't have to be certified, and they also don't, like, inspect your space or anything.
Wow.
Yeah, so the only 2 states you have to be certified is Ohio and Oregon.
Okay.
And every other state does not require any certifications. So I, like, literally had to just get, like, the LLC, get insurance and everything like that, and then, like, I was good to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I was trained and stuff to do it, and, like, I took extensive classes on, like, how spray tan solution works with the skin and stuff like that and how to match it to skin and stuff, but, like, never had to, like, actually get certified.
Sure. So you're a business owner now for how long?
I started
Brandon?
in mid-April is when I opened. So how long has it been now? 4 months?
This April?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. So
And how are things going?
it's going really good. It was
Really?
like, it was stressful at first, for sure. I opened in April and then we had May, which was definitely, like, our busiest month. Like,
Sure.
and other girls told me they were like, May's, like, insane, just wait.
Right.
And so, like, when I first started, it was, like, insane. Like, I had all these weddings and proms, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I was really in over my head, too, because I was, like, just getting started. But I managed it, and I was so excited. And then, like, when summer comes, it does start to die down, like, a little bit more, obviously, because
People are outside.
yeah, people are naturally tan. But it's like some people will still come in and they want, like, their tan lines fixed and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, it's been going really well. It's been nice and steady, and I still get new clients all the time. And a really funny thing about spray tanning industry is, like, it's so word of mouth. I, like, couldn't believe it. It was like this girl's telling this girl who's telling this girl who's telling this girl, and that's really how it was. Because I noticed, I was like, you know, no matter how many flyers I was giving out, or no matter how many Instagram posts I was making or whatever, like, almost all the clients that were coming in were referred by other people.
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, it really wasn't. Jenna originally told me too, she was like, don't spend all your money on marketing.
Advertising.
Yeah,
and-
she's like, because you know what it is? People need to see it to believe it.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, a spray tan, like, whatever, like, it's going to look weird or
Right.
whatever. I feel like there's, like, a stigma that you're going to look orange or it's going to look fake or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was like, just wait, because people need to see it. And she was right. And it was just a bunch of referrals. It was crazy.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah.
you're not spending money on marketing, but you're still doing content, right? Like,
Oh yeah, I do content all the time.
Okay.
I try to push out, like, as much content as possible because
Sure.
I feel like people want to see it to
Right.
believe it. I have
Absolutely.
great friends who will come in and I'm like, hey, I'll spray tan you. Do you want to take a cute little video of you? And they're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great.
That's how I was when I first started doing hair, just like getting content out. Like, let me get some filming of, you know, this, who wants a discounted balayage, whatever, just to
Yeah.
get content. I don't miss those days, but it's, you know, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, well, the thing with spray tanning is, like, unfortunately, I can't be like, hey, you're going to be half naked and you might be uncomfortable about your body.
You're going to be all over the internet.
Yeah, is it okay if I take a video of you right now? So, like, I mean, normally I'll just be like, hey, like, if you take a cute picture or something, send it my way and I'll give you, like, a discount.
I do like the witty stuff you come up with, though, like on Instagram.
I sometimes I think I'm a genius.
Seriously.
Sometimes I'm like, wow, my brain really just thought of that. But some of them, like, I will admit, like, I see other girls post them and I'm like, that's clever.
Pretty good.
That's pretty clever.
So do you get men coming in as well?
do.
Do they get butt ass naked too?
No, they're not allowed to get butt naked. That's a big no-no for me. You have to at least cover your genitals.
So that's your policy?
That is my policy.
Yeah, good.
There's a thing on our website that's like men
policy.
have to like keep their genitals covered in a sock. Sock does not
Doesn't
count.
work.
You
But
gotta.
females can get butt naked, right?
Females can get butt naked.
Is that because they want like that whole area to be tan?
They just don't want tan lines. Yeah. Some girls are
It's a
just
chick
like,
thing.
yeah, I just like want no tan lines. And I'm like, yeah. And some girls want tan lines because they're like, yeah, I want to see it.
Right. The
I have other
difference.
women that will wear like a one-piece bathing suit because they're like, I'm not comfortable with my stomach. Sometimes I've noticed a lot too, like if women come one time and they're like maybe a little bit more covered, maybe like the second time they like won't be as covered or stuff like that and they get a little bit more comfortable, which I'm like, totally cool with.
Right.
I'm like, I'm whatever you are most comfortable with. If you want me to only spray tan your arms, no problem.
Right.
Like if you want just your face done, no problem. Like I will do whatever.
And it's pregnancy safe, too.
It is pregnancy safe.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we always do recommend that like you double
Talk to
check
your
with your doctor and check with your
Right.
doctor. But yeah, it is pregnancy safe so we can get like mamas nice and tan too. And I love that.
Yeah.
So help me out here. So you said that you're an organic spray tanning salon. So what's the difference with being organic versus, because I'm, I got a year-round tan, so.
Yeah.
And I'm going to question a lot of the black people that come and, I'm trying to figure that one out too.
Don't
by the way.
question them.
Well, no, because like I could see you're not.
Well, I am two-tone. I got,
Yeah.
I'm a little lighter up here, but
Yeah.
I really don't care.
Yeah, I think when it comes to darker, people normally it's more about like a glowiness than like an actual tan. But yeah, with the organic sense, it's a lot of other products are not all organic. They'll have toxic ingredients. Ours are also unscented, which
Oh yeah, I hate the way spray tans
oh,
smell.
it
and
smells like
it smells like garbage. I didn't get that smell when I got a spray tan from you, and it was like I felt so pretty afterwards. I felt so nice and tan.
So yeah, I mean, there's kind of a couple things that I like truly really like about our products, and it's that it is all organic, so it's like really safe. They're not scented, so usually what makes people have an allergic reaction will be when things have scents in them because it's chemicals.
Right.
Like people don't realize like that like coconut smell that you have on you is like chemicals,
right.
and it can cause a lot of people to break out. I've never had an issue with anybody ever breaking out, which like praise the Lord, I'm so happy for that.
Right.
But again, like it's because I know that I'm using really great products. And other places will sometimes only offer products that are like, oh, do you want to be light, medium, or dark? Like I said before, and it's just like that's like doesn't fit everybody.
Right.
And I just like I'm like how are you even like doing that? And also like you said, like you left and you felt so pretty.
I did.
I've left places before where I'm like, who is this person? I'm like looking in the mirror and I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't even look like myself. So that was another thing too. Like when you get a spray tan, you should leave and still look like yourself, but just like elevated and tan and glowy. If you're leaving and you look like a totally different person, like they did not use the right color on you.
Yeah.
Like you should be able to leave and like go to work if you need to. Or
How did
like,
you know how to pick my color?
I just know.
Okay.
Like, so it took me actually a little bit to learn this. Like the first couple spray tans that I did, which everything's a learning process.
Right.
The first couple that I did, people were like, it came out kind of light. And I'm like, okay, like.
Well, because you could always add more.
I know. Well, I was being really cautious about it because I think I was just too nervous about making anybody dark. But like,
Right.
we live right next to New Jersey. So like, everybody wants to be dark. And I
Yes.
learned that pretty quick. I was like, all right, like, I got to start spraying people a little bit darker here. So like, when you came in, I used, I believe, did you do a 12-hour or an express? I forgot.
I think I did the one where I think I forgot too.
It was definitely either, I think it was like a violet 12%.
Yeah, violet. I remember you saying violet.
So it goes by percentages. The percentage is the DHA. DHA is the active ingredient that actually turns your skin tan.
Okay.
So that's another thing. People think it's just like you're dyeing your skin, and it's not. So it does have a bronzer in it, but it actually has a component called DHA that like works with your skin the same way that the sun does. Like it works with the melanin in your skin and actually makes your skin tan. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and then the reason why it fades off is because it only affects the top layer of your cells. So when those cells shed off, like when you wash in the shower,
that's why it lasts longer if you don't exfoliate so much while you're wearing
I know.
it.
I'm always like, just use soap in your hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, isn't that, I didn't know that either when I first got started.
Right.
When I learned that, I was like, no freaking way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
it is actually your skin turning tan. So like even if I did spray you with the wrong color, like if I sprayed you in like a golden and it looked really light on, like if the DHA percentage was high enough, like you'll still get a tan because it's going to be like your actual skin turning tan.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but the bronzer is just kind of like the color, just kind of like give you a preview of it.
Right.
And that will stay for a couple days too. But yeah.
I want to spray tan again. I did. I felt so
I
pretty.
know, I want to get my hair done again. Let's just start bartering each other.
Right?
Oh my God. I'm like always thinking about that. I'm like, I gotta find a nail girl.
Yeah.
Who wants to barter with me.
That would be amazing.
I know. I'm like, here's a couple tans. Let's do some nails. I know. I gotta figure that out. But
Do you have expanding plans? Like, do you have like different ideas for Blushed Tan?
I'm excited because I do think that there's room to expand, and there's also room where if like maybe you didn't want to grow, you don't have to. Like I
Yeah.
know that a girl owns one somewhere on like the West Coast where like she has like a space kind of like you. It's just like a room where she does it, and she's like, yeah, I like do it by myself, and I'm super happy with that. And like at the moment, I'm the only one doing it in my own salon, but you know, I do want to have a staff, and I want to be able to do more tans, and I maybe want to like move into like further into the Lehigh Valley too. I want to maybe like go into Allentown or something like that too.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Yeah, it's really cool because when you go into Blushed Tan, like I also own my territory.
Okay.
So I own mine and then like 10 miles around me.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, so no one else can open one.
So
So you can set up zones.
Yeah, so they actually set it up for you. I'm actually really glad that I went in the direction that I did. Because like I look back and I'm like, I probably could have like opened one up and not had it been like part of anything. But like it was so helpful for me because I got to like bounce ideas off of other girls that own some, and I got to like get to know other people that own them and get ideas off of them. And like I'm like, oh my God, I'm like so happy I did this, because like sometimes things come up and I'm like, I have no idea. Like the other day I had a woman come in who has gotten spray tans before. They always come out perfect, and then like all of a sudden she's like, yeah, this one didn't last for me. It only lasted like 2 days. I'm like, oh, like that's really weird. I don't know why that would happen. So I text another girl that owns one, and I'm just like, hey, like, you know, this happened. Like, do you know what this could be from? And she's like, is the woman older? And I'm like, yeah, she's like a little bit older. She's grandkids. And she's like, oh, like if she is going through menopause, it could change the pH in her skin.
That's interesting.
I had no idea. And she's like, yeah, it could change the pH in her skin. Like she was just at that time where like her pH levels were really off. And I was like, oh my God. So, and
That's
I was like, I would have
interesting.
never known that if I didn't have somebody that I could have asked about it.
Right.
So how long do the tans, how long do they last?
They last about a week, normally like a week and a half. It just depends on like how your skin fares and like how well you take care of it.
Sure. Okay.
So I can get mine to last like 2 weeks.
Really?
Oh, I've mastered it.
How do you do it?
I exfoliate really well before I get
Right.
one. So I use a exfoliating mitt and I exfoliate my body really, really well. And then I'll get one. I do the express ones too because I don't
Okay.
like sitting in it. It's
Right.
just me personally. Like I just don't like going to bed in it or anything. But then when I'm in the shower, I just wash with soap on my hand and I just put it all over, and I'll get out and pat myself dry, and keeping them moisturized too.
Okay.
Is
That's
like,
something that's something I did not do.
yeah, if you keep it moisturized, it will make it last so much longer.
Okay.
Because it does kind of dry out your skin, unfortunately. Even
So
though
do you, I'm sorry to cut you off, do you package this for your clients, like as far as in, if it only lasts like 2 weeks you're saying, do you like do a package deal for your clients?
So we have different packages where you could buy a package of 3, you could buy a package of 5, and that's really good for girls that maybe have like, you know, like, oh, it's spring and I'm busy and I have a lot of events. Like, why don't I just get a package and then like I'll have them to use? Or brides are really great too, because then they have one for their bachelorette, they have one for their bridal shower, they have their preview, and then they have their wedding day. And then we also do monthly memberships too, where you get 2 a month. So it would be like every 2 weeks you would come in, which 2 weeks is good because then you'll make sure that the tan is like completely off.
Sure.
But I have a couple people that do monthly, and they really love it. And I'm like, awesome. It works out for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get to make really great relationships with people.
I know. That is one of the best industries. Like, it
really
is.
is. And I get to see them a lot. Like, I feel like you only get to see people like a couple times a year.
I know. Well, my extension girls, like, I see like once every like 7 to 10 weeks ish, but like color clients, like like dimensional
like I
color.
only see you maybe like 4 times a year.
Yep.
Depending on how I'm feeling that
Right.
year.
I know. But I always love doing your hair. I was so excited when I first started doing it. I was like, I got this really pretty girl and I got this gorgeous head of hair.
Oh my God. I was in a short bob phase at that time too. I liked it.
Yeah.
But now everyone's always like, your hair is so long. Actually, I think shorter hair is harder
because
to keep
you have
up
to
with.
do more.
I know. And now that I have longer hair, I'm like, actually, I think this is easier because I can just like throw it in a bun. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like, that was so long ago.
I know.
We've been through so much together.
4 years, right? Has it been like 4 years? 3 years? Something like that?
Yeah, like 2020. I remember when you first met Herschel, and you're like, I met this guy. And like, I was like, ooh. And
I was like, yeah, he's got 7 kids.
I was like,
I have 7
holy
kids. I don't have 7 kids.
And then you're like,
Stop
wait.
it.
I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And I was like, he better be so good looking.
He better be good to you.
I know. I told my fiance that because like he has a daughter. Yeah, I know.
I have so many questions now, but so anyway.
Herschel's like, let me.
No, I'm just saying, like,
I told you I was interviewing one of my clients, so.
I know.
Yeah.
And like we've been through it together. We've been through a lot of relationships.
We have.
She's heard me. I remember one time I got my hair done, and I was just like,
I'm happy you didn't marry the other guy.
I know, me too. I was talking about that the other day, and I'm like, I was even thinking about it, and I was like, that would have never worked out.
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen for a reason.
They do.
And yeah, I'm happy I didn't marry the other guy after that.
I know.
So you were engaged like a couple other times before?
No, I was
She was
only
only
engaged
engaged
once before.
Okay.
I was really young at the time. I think I'm like a people pleaser. Like I will do anything to make anybody
It's part of
happy.
your love language.
It really is. Yeah, I love to cook for people. I love to, do the dishes. I like to make the bed. Like I like to show my love in a way that's just like more like me doing acts of service. So yeah, like it's kind of also goes into this idea of like that was kind of like an act of service.
Sure.
And then, I was in another relationship too. That was like, whew.
So for the crowd out there, they don't know she is a stepmom, also engaged to be married, correct?
Yes.
And you also own your own business, of course. So how do you manage it all?
Oh my God, it is a whirlwind.
And what are the ages of the kids again? I'm sorry.
So it's only one. I have
Okay.
one stepdaughter named Stella.
Okay.
She's the light of my life. She's also in like teenage years right now.
Yes.
Which I'm like,
12, right? 12?
oh yeah.
Okay,
I'll
I
text
remember
my
now.
mom and I'm like, can you believe this? And she's like, you did the same thing. I'm like, fuck.
My
I'm so
dad would
sorry.
tell, when I would call my dad, with my 17-year-old stepdaughter and tell him some of the things that was happening, he would just say, I don't want to tell you, look how the tables have turned.
Yeah,
but
that's how my mom was too.
look how the tables have turned.
I know. I'm like, shit. And she used to always say to me, she's like, wait till you have kids. And then I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's like, she is amazing. She is so good in school. Like, she's just such a great girl.
Awesome.
Like, I couldn't have had a better stepdaughter. And I'm so happy that she's in my life now. Like, I couldn't even, like, bear to not have her in my
Sure.
life. Oh, my God. I'm going to get emotional just
Yeah.
talking about it. Like, if she wasn't there, like...
Is she there full time or part time?
We have her half the time,
Okay.
and then her mom has her half the time. I have a really good relationship with the mom, too.
I know,
Good for
you're
you.
lucky.
Yeah, I am really lucky in that sense. Like, even the
When
other...
she told me, she's like, yeah, we went snowboarding together. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I also... I even just like texted her the other day, and she got married last year, and I asked her just like, I was like, hey, I have a personal question, and she kind of talked to me about it too, and she just came to my bridal shower. Like, we do have a really good relationship, so that helps so
That's a
much.
bonus,
I couldn't
for
like
sure.
imagine if we didn't, or like if anything like that. I do feel really bad when like parents don't have that relationship or get along. I think for like
Happens a lot.
yeah, and I came from divorced parents too, so I also like really understood that dynamic really well as well. So like I knew like when when there was like tension, like you could feel it, and as a kid you can feel it, and it made my life so hard.
Yeah.
Like it just put so much pressure on me, and like I would never want her to ever have to feel like that, because I think it's already hard enough that she has to go between two homes. Like even though we do try to make it really easy for her, like I feel that for her. So I understand that, and I don't ever want her to feel the way that I did as a kid.
Right.
So like me getting along with her mom is just like a really easy way for us to like make sure that she doesn't ever have to feel like discomfort or anything like that. But yeah, like managing it, it was tough. It was a lot at first. Like, I was working hours that were hard, and like thank God, like my fiance is so understanding, and he was just like, like he understands that I have to do that. It was actually easier like once I transitioned into owning my own business than when I was like working before, because I was bartending and I was away at night, and it really just wasn't working for our relationship, and like we both felt that, and like I especially felt that pressure where like again, like I'm a people pleaser, and I just wanted to make him happy. So I think actually like him seeing that I'm doing something that's gonna kind of like help build us and help grow our family and like help us in like a business standpoint, like I think that because he can see it in that sense, he's like okay with me working later, and kind of I'm like in and out of the house all day long, and he works from home. Like thank God, like he's there for like when she gets home from school and like stuff like that. So like it's really great that he works from home, but like I am like all over the place all day. I'm sure you can feel that sometimes too.
For sure.
Like I'm in and out, and I'll be home for lunch, and then I'm back out, and like he's just like, oh my God, like
How close do you live to the salon?
I live like 10 minutes.
Oh, that's so nice.
I do have to like drive through downtown, which kind of sucks, and find parking, but I live close enough where like if I have like 3 appointments in the morning, like I'll go home and like do stuff, and I'm like really into fitness in the gym as well. So like I always set aside time during the day to be able to do that too, because it just helps me so much mentally.
How do you do it if it's not in the morning? Because if I don't do it in the morning, I'm not going to do it.
I can go in the afternoon. Like if I know I have to go. Like it doesn't matter what time of day it is. Like if I have appointments in the morning, which is like normally how it will pan out, is I'll have appointments in the morning, and then I'll have a break because usually people aren't coming between like 1, 2, and 3, and then I'll go back at night. But like then I'm like, yeah, like I'm there, and then I'm at the gym, and then I'm at home showering, getting ready, eating, blah blah blah, and then I'm like back there.
Right.
And I'm like, hi, like I have been doing this all day. I'm like, I've just been chilling here, and like they're like, okay,
Yeah.
It's like the stuff that no one sees,
Right, behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes. Oh my God, if you had a camera follow me around all day, they'd be
fly
like
on the wall.
Yeah, they'd be like, are you okay? Like, yeah,
I cannot wait to see your wedding photos.
I'm so excited.
You're gonna be her wedding is in 45 days.
It's like 41 now.
41 days.
I know. I checked this morning because I was like, how far away are we? Because I just had my bridal shower the other day, but I would say I don't think I would ever recommend for somebody to open a business and plan a wedding at the same time.
It's a lot.
Oh my God, I felt like my head was gonna spin off. I mean, thankfully, like it all worked out fine, and we are having a smaller wedding. But like everyone who's like, "Oh, you should have just eloped like we did," I'm like, I'm like, no. I'm like, thanks for telling me that now, but now it's too late. So
That's funny.
I know people say it to me all the time. They're like, well, like I'll be like, oh my
That's not
God.
helpful now.
I know. They're like, well, like we just eloped and it was so easy, and then we went on our honeymoon, and I'm like, okay, good for you.
Are you doing a honeymoon, or are you gonna wait?
We're actually still planning a honeymoon.
Okay.
I know. We kind of like put that off to the last minute because we weren't sure if we were going to, and then I was like, if I'm going to take time off of work, I should just do it all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
We
only
never
get
took
married.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys just like had like a nice little elopement. You never threw it in my face though.
No, I didn't.
I just can't get over how many people are like, you should have done this, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
it.
So another question. So you're new with owning your own salon, but kind of looking into the camera, or talking to other aspiring people, humans, male, female, whatever. what would you say is a good course of action for, someone that wants to pursue something in your industry?
Yeah.
Because like some people like always want to know, like, you went over some of the things, but how do I get there? Like, what do I have to do? I don't know if, financially, because everyone has their own finances that they go through, but, you're obviously, your love language is acts of service. So not everyone can do what you're doing. You have to be able to, just listening to you, you sound like someone that, you're going to draw people into you just because of how you make them feel. But, for people like you, how do you, what are some things that they can do to, start the process?
Yeah. So when I initially started the process, so like prior to opening Blushed Tan, I worked as a bartender, and I worked like downtown. I worked at a couple different places, and like I worked my ass off. Like I remember days where I was like, I can't do another day of this. Like I was working like upwards of 6 days a week sometimes. Like I was really, really hustling, but I was also single at the time. So it was
as a bartender?
Yeah.
Right.
I was single, so it was easy for me, and like, while other people were out like partying or other girls were buying bags and doing whatever, like I was putting all that money away because like I knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what it was, but like I knew it was going to be something big, and I wanted to be prepared for it. Like I've always been really good with money and everything like that. So yeah, I was working so hard, and
Tips were good?
Oh yeah, I was making like insane money as a bartender, and I was also like really social, so it worked out really well for me.
Do you think that you were doing really well just because your gift of gab?
I think it definitely
because
helps.
there's a lot of dudes that come in there, so you're probably attracting a lot of guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely helped, but also like, I mean, for the most part, like you're gonna make what you're gonna make, and I did learn that. Like sometimes, like yeah, like being charismatic will help your tip, but for the most part, like if somebody's not gonna tip you, like you're probably not gonna make money. Like it really doesn't matter who you are or whatever. But yeah, I was making great money doing that. I think it's a really great stepping stone for people if they do want to make really good money in a short amount of time. But the problem is with it is you can get really easily sucked into it, and you can get stuck in this lifestyle where like it is kind of fun. Like you're pretty much like at a bar every night, even if you're you're partying and you're having a great time, and then like we're all going out for drinks after work and we're staying out till like 5 a.m. and having the gym was a really great thing that like kept me structured because I was like, oh, I want to go to the gym tomorrow, so I'm not going to go out and party all night and like drink and whatever. So that helped me structure. But yeah, I saved up so much money that I felt comfortable when I did make that transition. And I think if anybody else wanted to get into this same industry and do tanning, I would say that the first thing that you should do is find a product line that you like stand behind and you believe in. Like you need to be 100% on like this product line and what you're using on people. Because if you don't believe in it and you don't stand by it and like you don't think it looks good, then like why are you going to expect other people to feel the same way, you know? So I like already knew the product line and I knew everything because I had gotten tans from them before, so I loved it and I knew it was great already. So like I felt really comfortable with that. And then like Blushed Tan also offers like after care products, like we have like lotions and like face sprays and stuff like that too. So like, and then also making sure that you're like getting products like that work really well. And yeah, like you have to be comfortable with people because, and you have to make people feel comfortable. Like if you can't do that and you're not comfortable with like everybody's type of body, this is not for you. Like you need to be comfortable seeing every type of body. You need to be comfortable seeing maybe things that you haven't seen before, like if somebody has a skin problem or if maybe somebody has like something wrong with their legs or whatever it is. Like you need to be able to be comfortable and you need to be able to not mention things. Like I would never ever mention if somebody had like a skin issue.
Nipples?
Yeah, never. Oh my God. If somebody had like no boobs or
Why not?
whatever.
You can't just tell them like, hey, you know what? I think you have another nipple there. You probably
People
should work
know.
on that.
Yeah.
Like they know
Especially
what
if
they
you're
look
staring
like.
at it.
Yeah, or like if people
Shout out
don't
to
want to
the three nipple
shave.
people.
Yeah, shout out to them.
So you have tried different product lines, and you went with this one.
I tried them personally. Like I tried them on myself.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, every single self tanner on the market. I've tried them all. When Blushed Tan originally came out with it, I tried that one and I really did love it. And I actually had them all in a bucket, and I had like 100 of them. And like sometimes like they get gross. Like you'll notice like they'll turn like green on the
Right.
top and get gross. And like I even had one explode once, and I was like, holy shit. And the one that I had from Blushed Tan that was like 2 years old was the only one that like didn't get gross.
So you can make bombs.
I don't know. It just like exploded. It was everywhere. It was so gross.
It's like fermenting or something.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's natural.
Well, not the Blushed Tan one. It was like another one that was like a chemical base.
So were you looking for reactions on your skin or something?
I mean, I have sensitive skin actually. Spray tan works really well for me because I can't naturally tan from the sun. I get really bad heat rash all over my cheeks. I look like I have acne. It like makes me feel like my skin is burning. Like I just can't be in the sun. Like I can go out for a little bit and I can sit under an umbrella, but I can't be in the sun. So this is really the only option I have if I want to be like have a nice tan or look pretty.
Right.
And a lot of girls are also the same. They're
They
like, I don't
are.
tan. And I'm like, don't worry, we got you, girl.
Because people in your age group are smarter than the people in our age
And
group.
a lot of
because
us
when
don't
we're
want to be
younger.
out and tan anymore.
I know.
It's like crazy. I think people are going to start, like, as people age, they're going to start aging a lot better, too.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it, though, for people, potential clients, especially watching the show. For people that have sensitive skin,
Yeah.
Skin issues. Like it sounds like your product line, your organic product line, would be a good fit for them. So I think that's
Yeah, definitely.
that's pretty cool.
I've had women before, too, that have had skin cancer. And they've told me really horrific stories of having like, oh yeah, I used to just like lay out on the beach with like tanning oil on and I didn't really
Same.
care. And I'm like,
Same.
oh my God.
Yeah,
that
I
is-
mean, as soon as I hit 30, that's when everything that I
Yeah.
did in the past just started coming out.
I had a woman who had melanoma, and she was like, you don't know pain until you're feeling them scraping your skin off of your body to try and save you.
That's terrible.
And I'm just like, oh my God.
Help
like,
me out. What is that?
Melanoma is
Melanoma
cancer
is
of
skin
the skin.
cancer.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, sometimes it can be like very small, like you might have like a little mole or something, and sometimes it can be really, really severe to the like point where they need to take off like patches of your skin just to like control it. So yeah, for her to like share that story with me, and I was just like, oh my God, like I felt so deeply for her, and I was really happy that like now we had a solution where like she was going to her daughter's wedding, and she
Yeah.
was like, I just like I just want to feel pretty, like I want to look glowy, like I want to feel like really nice about myself. And I was just like, oh, like those are the stories where you're like, yeah, like
It is.
yeah. And I make everyone's tan perfect, and I'm like, girl, yours
You
is
do.
gonna be perfection, I promise. And
You do.
yeah, she looked so beautiful. I was so happy.
I go to the beach with, we do a yearly annual beach thing, and I try so hard. Like,
I know.
it's,
At the same time, though, and I say this to everyone,
Me
I'm
too.
like, don't drive yourself nuts.
Yeah.
Don't drive yourself crazy over
Yeah.
Just let it happen.
I also because if you should be able to enjoy that time with your family
Yeah.
as well. So like don't
SPF 50 everywhere, every
Oh yeah, I'm
hour.
the same way. But my fiance is like you.
My
Canola
husband.
oil here. Shout
My
out to
husband.
Canola.
My
I love
husband.
it.
I keep saying that, and then they're
Keep
like,
saying it.
"You guys married?" I'm like, "No."
You're about to be. You're
I'm like, I'm
basically
just
married.
practicing. I know.
My
My
husband.
husband. I know. Holy crap.
What's your last name going to be?
Musto?
Musto. Ali Musto.
I know. I love it. I should have gotten my business cards with that. I still have like 300 business cards left.
Yeah, so do
better
I.
start
And I
passing these out.
already changed my business name, so I have to get all new cards. So
Uh-oh. Yeah, go through those ones first. Cards are expensive.
I know.
Everything, and anything printed.
I know.
Holy crap. I got stickers the other day, and I was like, this was stupid. It's like, why were these $12?
Little financial mistakes that you make along the way.
I know. Still, you want like
learning.
fun little things too.
Right.
Yeah.
So Meredith stole my thunder a little bit earlier, and one of the first things that she was talking about when we were sitting in the bedroom is that I want to give this interview to someone that owns their own spray tan salon. She's like, "What are some questions you want to ask her?" And I'm just like, "Well, first thing I'm going to ask her is black people come to her.
She told me this in the
And-
bathroom.
But when he
She's
told
like,
me
be
it,
prepared.
but when he
That's the
told
first thing that popped in my mind.
But when
so.
he told me, like, I couldn't help but to start laughing because I'm like, why would they? But then after I talked to you in the bathroom, and now that I'm thinking about it, because I see your tan lines, and you
So-
obviously have tan lines, so they want to get rid of
It's
their
very
tan lines.
rare, like, just to be clear. I've only had it happen out of, like, the hundreds of people I've spray tanned. It has only happened,
Like a handful of
of times.
Yeah, for you black people that, want your tan lines fixed, just, make sure you expose the rest of your skin.
Or
You know
just
better.
wear sunscreen.
Or wear sunscreen.
Do you not wear sunscreen?
I don't. Whatever
Well,
you wear sunscreen
Are you
for.
serious?
Well, he's learning.
I think you're still supposed to.
I'm black. I don't wear sunscreen.
I don't know.
He
I don't know what the. I
he
don't know
doesn't
what that's
listen
like.
to me.
I would at least do the face
What's
at a minimum.
What am I wearing sunscreen for?
Because I already told you, like, you don't need to age.
Age?
Yeah, I
Yes,
don't know.
you're gonna
My
get
fiance's
wrinkly.
pretty
Process.
iffy about. He's Italian and he tans well. I've seen him get sunburns though, but he only puts sunscreen on his tattoos.
What part of Italy?
I don't know.
South, northern.
He was adopted, so
Okay.
I don't even think we know that. But
I'll have to
he
take a
tans
look at
really.
his face
His
and I'll be able to
Stella
tell.
tans like crazy.
The olive.
Oh my god, like insanely dark. I'm like, holy crap, girl. She came back from vacation with her mom, and I was like,
Looking Puerto Rican.
yeah. I was like, where did this come from?
Not fair.
Yeah.
So some Italians have black features.
Yeah,
just because they're so
Sicilians.
close to Africa.
Yeah.
And you can look at an Italian, you can tell by their complexion and some of their facial, features if they're from the south or from the north of.
Oh no
Italy.
way! I didn't know that. Did you know that?
No, I'm only Italian. I don't know though.
Yeah, Italians always look. I feel like they always get so pale in the winter and then tan so well in the summer.
So when I saw her dad, I'm thinking okay, they look like they're kind of from south. Your dad, right? Your dad's Italian. He has Italian in his family, right?
Right.
And I had him pegged for more of the south, and plus he knows hip hop too. So
Oh.
shout out pops.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Anyway.
How does your dad interact with your stepchildren?
Oh, I don't know. How do you think he does?
Does he take on almost like a grandfather role? I mean, they're all a little bit older. I'm just curious. Sorry.
So my dad
What's
is...
a grandfather role?
So how do I want to answer this? I don't know how to answer that because I think that he is excited to have more people in his family, for sure. But he also, I think, wants people to feel comfortable, so he doesn't want to cross comfort. You know what I mean?
I think that's a tough thing when it comes to either being a
later
step
on.
parent or being a step.
Grandparent.
Yeah, I mean, my dad took to Stella right away.
Really?
Oh my god, you would have thought that he knew her for her whole life. He
Right.
just clinged right onto her. But that's also my dad's personality.
Yeah.
But
a lot of it has to do, I think, with the personalities
yeah,
too.
I
His
think-
love language.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely shows his love through he loves giving you hugs and telling you how much he loves you and
Words,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
Physical
Yeah.
touch, words of affirmation.
Yeah. Whereas my mom, I don't think that it's not she didn't cling on to her or anything like that, but I think she kind of wanted to get to know her a little bit more first and get to know who she was and also the same way doesn't want to. I feel she also doesn't want to cross the line where that
Right.
would make her uncomfortable. I mean, she's 12. It's not she's
Right.
4 and you can just
Pick her up and hold her.
oh, I'm always just come here and
I know.
let me snuggle you, and she's like, what are you doing?
So I can kind of answer this question because the question wasn't answered. I would say that he is.
Yeah.
Because he's the type of man as far as in you could tell that he cares. He also gives good advice, and he communicates well with the kids.
Yeah.
And also for me, it depends on the culture because in my culture, I had a grandfather who was a very just a stern individual because he was also in the military. So grandmothers and grandfathers are different, and in my culture, just because grandmoms are more hands-on, grandfathers are the ones that just will be stern, and you're in their presence, and they're old school, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I guess it would depend on the the personalities as well, because a man, you know, depending on if he does have that like physical touch or words of affirmation, some men don't. I do. You know, so I guess it just depends on, you know.
What's his love language? I don't even know.
Whose?
My dad. I don't even know. I have no idea.
So I would say your dad's is physical touch.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
So, and
I
how
think
I picked up on
sometimes when
this,
you're the child, like it's almost because you're like, I've known this person my whole life, you know?
you guys hug a lot in your family.
It's because I'm his favorite.
Well, it doesn't matter. You like, you know, you guys hug a lot, and obviously, you know, you have to be able to have some forms of, you know, physical touch, because, you know, we're not big huggers in my family as well. And words of affirmation, I don't know if your dad's quite words of affirmation, but I would definitely say physical
Yeah, he's a
touch.
hugger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so weird how many like different family dynamics there are.
I know.
Like there's so many. Like it's so insane nowadays. Like I can't even believe
I
it.
don't think there's any norm either. Just because,
No.
like, there's...
I mean, there's people that have like, they have stepkids and then you
Blended
have kids of
families.
your own, and it's just like you have this whole big mingled family. It's like, oh my God. But that's the thing, it's like instead of separating it, like it's so much better to just all come together.
fun.
Like just have like a big family full of love, you know?
That's the goal.
I know. That should always be the goal. Like always be the goal. As much love as possible.
So we didn't ask this question. Usually we ask this question, like, do you have any type of, you know, faith, spirituality, you know, what's your Zen?
Yeah. So you told me that like you guys would be asking that question, and when I looked through it, I thought about it this morning, and I actually like kind of had to sit with myself for a second and be like, how do I talk about this? Because I don't know if it's anything that I'm normally like I've ever been asked before, just because like I feel like some people think it might make people uncomfortable to ask.
That's fine. They'll be uncomfortable.
No,
People
no.
are very sensitive these
But
days.
I do believe in God. Definitely, wholeheartedly.
Which God?
I grew up in a Protestant church.
Okay.
So, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, but I definitely struggled with it. And I struggled with it at a younger age, I want to say, because I was going to a Protestant church, and, when my parents were together, like, it was almost like we had this, like, picture-perfect family where, like, we went to church every Sunday and we knew everybody there, and like we would talk to everyone, and we went to Sunday school and we knew all the other kids and stuff. And I grew up in a really small town too. I know I say Boston, but like I grew up in like a smaller town outside of Boston. And I just remember like once my parents got divorced, when I was a little bit older, like it was like this weird stigma. Like people would kind of like, you could hear people like whispering about it, and then like you went from like coming with your mom and your dad and your whole family to like now it's just like your mom's here, and like people were like apologizing to you, and it just like felt
Judgy?
it felt so judgy. Yeah. And I mean, I just like I remember just feeling like like wow, like this is so weird. And I think I was also like, we were really into the church. Like, I went to church camps in the summer and stuff like that. And I remember, like, having to do things that made me feel uncomfortable. Like, I remember, I don't think I've ever shared this with anybody before. I hope you guys are, like, okay with that.
Of course. That's why.
But, yeah, I
why we're
remember
asking.
having to, like, sing songs about the devil and, like,
Really?
So what?
do things that made me uncomfortable.
That's
Yeah,
really
like-
Sing
weird.
songs against the devil, or
Yeah.
sing songs to the devil?
Against it.
Okay.
But like I remember going to the sleepaway camp when I was getting confirmed, and like
Do you remember any of these songs? I would like to hear some.
no, I
Yours?
don't.
Okay.
I literally blocked this all out of my memory, which is again like why I think I have trouble like thinking about it, because I'm like, oh my God, like I haven't thought about this in so long until like I was thinking about it today. But like, yeah, I just felt like church, like kind of and I don't know if it was maybe the church that I did. And I don't think my parents were trying to put me in like a bad situation or anything like that.
Right.
I just remember like being put in like these weird situations that sometimes made me feel uncomfortable. And I think once I stepped away from the church, and I was just like, oh, like, that made me kind of feel uncomfortable. Like, I didn't really like that. And once I got older, I was just like having like issues with like my spirituality and like deciding like where I stood, because I remember I I was at like a party or something once, and there was a pastor there, and I was talking to him, and I was like, if God is real, then why do bad things happen to people? I know, and that's like I think that's a tough question. It really is.
It's not.
You don't think so?
No.
Really?
No, because and that question gets asked a lot. So we obviously live in a world, right? And in this world, God always wanted us to have a free will, right? The free will to rightly choose what we want to do, right? So in the event of choosing what we want to do, we can make mistakes, right? In our mistakes, things come. We have, whether it's some form of suffering or whatever, there's for every action, there's a reaction, right? So we live in a sinful world where things happen. There's disease, there's rape, there's murder, there's a lot of things that go on. God's not in control of that, in my personal opinion, right? Just because God always wanted us to be free, right? So we have to freely choose God, right, to receive, his love. But as far as all these other things, like people will say, well, I don't believe in God because God allows rape and murder, right? But they put that on God. They never put it on the negative aspect of good and evil. There is an evil. There's a evil spirit, So that's my belief. We can go in deep. It sounds like, when hearing your story is somewhat like mine. I grew up in a very religious household. And for me, I had this negative view on God too, right? Because I'm thinking going to church 3 times a week, and church on Sundays is 6 hours long, and I'm seeing people dancing and foaming at the mouth, and they're casting out devils, and they're saying this person's not perfect and all that stuff. And I find religious people to be the most judgmental people here on this planet. You can find them in all different kind of religions. But for me, in my house, it's about relationship, right?
Yeah.
It's not about religion. It's not about what I do. Church is not going to save me. Going to church, sitting in church, it's good to, be around like-minded people, to help elevate you, to help your spiritual growth. But as far as in, going to church because I need to go to church because that's how God loves me, it's a fallacy. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not true.
No,
So
I totally get
your identity, is defined between your personal relationship with the Creator. And I really don't. Sometimes I don't like using the word God because my personal opinion is I think it's man-made. But for me it's the Creator, of the atmosphere of our. Our universe and stuff like that, and that's who I go to. It's not a him or her, as much as the Holy Bible will say a lot of he or put God, using the terminology of God, and some Jewish people actually agree with that too. But for me, just sharing with you is I make mistakes, right? I'm human, and I know that this God is the Creator's grace is good enough to, make me feel like I can keep going, right? In my mistakes and my flaws. I'm not bound by feeling oh my God, I messed up, and I'm feeling so down now because God's not going to forgive me. It's totally not my belief, and that's what pushes a lot of people away. By the way,
I think so too.
Religion, especially when you have parents who are very religious, we got to go to church, we got to sing our praises to God, or we got to pray against the devil and sing against the devil and all that stuff. Kids, it weirds kids out. And it sets the wrong foundation. We identify with our parents who are the role models in our house, and sometimes how they are, we feed off of that. So, but as we get older, we start picking up on some things that causes for us to raise, of course I'm a father of 7, and I noticed that with my own kids, they will look at me right first before they're looking at God, and they'll point out things with me right before they point out things with God.
Yeah.
And it should be reversed. You should identify what God says about you, not what your father says about you, right? So that's how you find your identity. That's how you get to define yourself and, just go forward in this life. But.
Yeah. I think it's tough when you're a kid, too, and you don't have boundaries. Mm-hmm. You don't have boundaries. You can't say, I don't agree with this. I don't really like this. Because, you don't have a choice.
That too.
And you don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that once you get older and you do have like your life experiences and you understand things a little bit better, I think that's a time when you can decide like how you want your life to lead you. And, you know, I am so open to anybody that wants to, like, if they want to go to church, if you're Muslim, if you are Jewish, if you are anything, like, if it's something that makes you feel safe,
Right.
and makes you, like, helps you get through your life, I love that for you. I am so happy for you. I'm so happy that you have that. If you're a person that believes in God and you don't actively go to church every Sunday, like I am, I like that. It's what makes me feel comfortable. And I read something the other day that said, fear and faith are both things that you cannot see. Like it's not a physical thing that you can see, but you still like have fear. So why not also have faith as well? You know? So
That's
when
a
I
good way
read
to
that,
put it, yeah.
when I read that, I was like, oh my God, like that is true. Like, you know, so
Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
yeah.
That's
I know.
Yeah, I was like, when you put that question on there, I was like, I really had to think about that. And then I was like curious. I was like, maybe I'll share this story, maybe I won't. But I mean, I'm glad I did because I think it kind of like does say something about, you know, how we're brought up and stuff like that.
It helps to get to know you too.
Yeah. I feel like we know each other so well.
Yes.
Oh my God. We were both single girlies at one point.
Yes, we were.
Now look at
So
us.
was I.
know.
I was a single guy at one point, but
The
I'm not single
Bachelor.
anymore.
I hate the term bachelor.
So do I.
Like, then what am I? A bachelorette.
Bachelorette.
Like, oh, I hate it.
So, in closing, I want to say that I'm not just proud of you, I'm also proud of you. You know, you guys are singles moms, right? And I think it's kind of hard for, you know, females to come into someone's life, right, where they have a child or children.
Well, we're
and
not single moms.
Well, you're not single moms.
We're stepmoms.
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 Okay,
I was
sorry.
so
I like bonus
confused.
mom.
Bonus mom. He
think-
doesn't like that term.
Why don't
bonus
you
mom.
like that?
That's all. I mean, I don't like bonus mom because I think there's a terminology for it, and words matter to me. So when you look up bonus mom, I think there's a negative.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
a
I don't know.
negative
I like
connotation
bonus
for
mom
that.
for myself just because, like, Stella already has a mom, and I'm
Right.
just like,
Your bonus one.
yeah, I like it. But yeah,
Whatever works.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so some people don't have moms because, like, you know, so when I hear the word bonus
Yeah.
mom, just sharing that, you know, their mom died.
So if their mom was still alive, would you be upset if I would call myself a bonus mom?
I don't know. I just think there's just still
Yeah.
a negative connotation. But whatever you want to, if you want to walk around and call yourself a bonus mom, I mean, that's whatever. No, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna question
I
things.
can
Stepmom.
understand that. I
Yeah.
can understand that.
Just gonna, you know, question things. That's all. I like questioning things.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
I get
anyway,
to know things.
what I was saying is, I'm proud of both of you guys
Thank you, honey.
because you even said, like, you know, it's you're getting married and you started a business, but you did it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you fumbled and you're like, oh my God, I'm getting married and I can't do this business. I'm just going to set it off to the side. You rolled the dice. You took a risk. You did it. You're successful, right? You're 25 now. You said 24 earlier, but
I
you're
know.
25 now.
I know.
And so good on you because that gives a lot of, you know, females, males, you know, hope, you know, there's ways to make money, good money, you know. You actually have to be able to work in a service industry because it sounds like
Yeah.
you worked in a service industry. My wife's like that too. Like, you can't just be someone who's like, I just want to make money. I don't care. And that's not going to work because your vibrations matter to people that sit in your chair,
yeah.
or I guess they stand up with you for you.
Standing naked in front of me. Well, also, like, I couldn't even believe that so many people, too, will even, like, I don't tell people I'm the business owner. Like, I just, like, let people assume that I just work there because, like, it's really not that important. Like,
You make content though, don't you? Aren't you in your content?
yeah, but I don't tell people in my content, like, hey, I'm the owner of Blushed Tan.
Right.
Like, I just, like, I don't know. If people ask me, of course, I'm like, yeah, of course I am. But,
Right.
like, I don't, like, I don't know. I don't openly just, like, be like, when people come in, I'm like, hi, I'm the owner. Like, because who cares? But, I know, but like, so many people ask me, like, once they realize that, they're like, oh, well, why'd you do this? And that's such a broad question because I'm like, oh, if you
only knew.
if you only knew, and, like, I try to keep it short and sweet. But, like, yeah, people do want to know why you're passionate about something. So you do have to have that passion behind whatever you're doing. And you gotta realize you're not always gonna make money right away either.
Well, they say like the first 5 years of opening your business, you're seeing so much ups and downs with your income that it's hard to say like how much you're,
it's stressful
making.
Sometimes. I think that the income thing was probably the biggest stress on me. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. Like that money that is in our account, like it's not our money. Like 30% of it is going to Uncle Sam, and then, it's. I think that's probably the most stressful part of it, just watching the ebbs and flows. But then you have to be comfortable with it because you see, thousands of dollars coming in and out of your account, going up and down. So, yeah, I mean, it's in the beginning, I think I was a lot more scared than I am now.
Yeah.
Now I'm a lot more comfortable with it.
I'm starting to feel more comfortable.
Right.
The money aspect. I used to have enough money where I could do whatever I wanted. And then when I first started, I was like, I'm not spending a dime on anything unless it's essential.
Yeah.
And you gotta realize that too. That's what being a business owner is, because I could be guaranteed a paycheck if I wanted to go work somewhere else. But if I want to grow something for myself, then I have to take that risk.
And another thing that I'm learning is just because, your LLC is brought in that much money, that's not your money.
That's not your money.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, when you watch that money go out, you're like,
I know.
It's cool, I made this much today, and then tomorrow it's gone. And you're like, all right, time to start a new day. You got to go day by day. You have to.
It's also important, I think, to have goals and, if not weekly, monthly goals to set. With the software, the Gloss Genius, they have a new feature where you can set a weekly goal.
Oh, really? That's really cool.
It is. So you can set weekly goals and then monthly goals. So that is helpful too.
Yeah.
But getting comfortable with.
I like that they have that for you.
So
That's really cool. I mean, I don't know if mine has that, but I've getting comfortable with the POS is hard, and I remember talking to you about it too.
Yeah, it's a whole learning curve.
Yeah.
It's fun though.
Yeah. I love talking to other business owners.
So we want to show you some love. We want to help lift you up and esteem you. So how can other people find you? I know you mentioned it earlier that you're in Easton. So if you have Instagram or, social media, how can they find you?
Yeah, my Instagram is Blushed Tan _Easton PA if you want to find it, and then there you can also see all the links to go into booking and everything, and you can watch all of the fun videos and see for yourself how great it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is our ending of all of our questions for Miss Allie. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love you, Allie. I'm so thankful for you.
This was so easy.
Yes.
It's like talking to a friend. So it was really fun to be here.
Good. If you would like to come in and get a spray tan, you're not going to be disappointed. It feels great. It looks great. It smells good.
And you can be black too and get spray tans.
Yeah. I have to remember to stop saying and I agree on these podcasts. So
I agree. And,
thank you so much for joining us, and I think that's a wrap.
But hold on for a second. So also, don't forget to share.
Oh, yes.
Make some comments if you like, and follow us as well, excolounge.com.
Yes.
We're all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, not TikTok yet. TikTok soon.
TikTok, Spotify.
I love the YouTube shorts.
Yeah,
too.
trying to get on to Apple Podcast. So trying to get on all the platforms.
Awesome.
So that's a wrap.
I agree.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.